All right, here we are. Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Awesome.
Pretty good.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Ooh, fantastic! I heard in the hullabaloo of responses. Well, welcome. This is episode 2 of our Saved Games podcast. We're joined by some repeat hosts from last time, CaptainGreigh and FlatCap and Neil and NYTxSABER, and our new host joining us this week is Chaplain. Welcome in, Chaplain. Nice of you to join us. We hope that you feel just welcome and feel open to share anything you want. So we did a like an icebreaker kind of last time, a little get to know you with each of us. Actually, we answered last time, so we'll do that for Chaplain this week, this month rather. But one of the questions we asked was, "What's your favorite retro game growing up?"
Wasn't necessarily. I don't think it was a favorite game, but like the first genuine e-sport that I kind of engaged with was Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, the original, and it was we played PvE, and I was a member of a squad known as Alpha Squad, and we were the first world champion PvE team. So we were from 5 different countries, and that's where I adopted the name Chaplain as my gamer tag back in 1999. And I was there because it was a military group, and everybody had come out of military backgrounds, and they wanted somebody to be able to provide chaplaincy for them, and that's what I did. I ended up planting 2 of them in churches in the U.S., and it was a really, really cool experience. So yeah,
that's awesome. So how do you do competitive PvE in a game like that?
You have people that are absolutely villainous making maps with bots that are extraordinarily better than you are, and then you have like landmines that you can't see, that you can't know, you just hear click, and you're like, I think I stepped on a landmine.
So it's like,
and then you have to have somebody come over and defuse it, and it's if you've ever seen the original, like you could shoot one bullet by accident and all of the NPCs just run to your location, like from all over the map. And it's
so is it like a timed thing, like a time trials type of thing?
We did time trials. We had sneaks, so you had to like sneak across rivers and get past guards without alerting anything. Because again, one bullet would bring everybody to their location, and you have to get in, get the recon, and get back to your starting location to then go to the next phase of the map. But,
nice. Yeah,
it was wild. Very, very well crafted.
Yeah, that sounds neat. And well, like real life, one bullet attracts everybody. What have you ever waited in line, or what was the first game you ever waited in line, like overnight, like a midnight release for? That was FlatCap's question from last stream.
Yeah, Burning Crusade, World of Warcraft. I arrived at 3:00 in the morning to 6 people in front of me, and the store got only 10 copies in the collector's edition, and I bought 2 of them.
Nice.
So, yeah.
One for a friend.
So, yeah, but the friend never got it. No.
Yeah, I can't. We were talking last time.
I gave him the code, but I didn't give him the box. I didn't give him nothing out of it. I mean, seriously, that was all my stuff.
Some of us never got the opportunity to do that, but I know, like with Destiny, I didn't wait in line, but I was waiting for like the pre-order to download onto my Xbox, and I got up at 3 a.m. so I could play it when it was available to start playing on my Xbox. Got up at 3 a.m., played it for like 6 hours, went back to sleep for an hour, got up for work. It's like,
The good old days when weekly reset was at 5 a.m. Central Time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's nice to have you, Chaplain. Do you want to just tell us a little bit too, like about what you do? What's your job look like, or what's your ministry look like?
Yeah, so I spent the last 32 years really, in pastoral youth ministry. And my youngest son decided in the summer of 2019 that he wanted to be a professional esports athlete. And we didn't really kind of have an idea of what that looked like, but we were willing to investigate. He ended up being scouted by a collegiate coach that then encouraged us to let him graduate high school at grade 10 and play video games full time because he was that good. I thought he was crazy until 4 days later we said, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. He ended up ranking for Overwatch 1, 81st out of North America and 83rd in Overwatch 2. And that's out of 25 million players. Like, he was really that good. He decided to learn Mandarin instead of Korean, though. So, yeah, didn't get a chance to get the contract because he couldn't speak Korean. So, I still, to this day, kind of irks me a little bit.
Wow.
But one of the processes in that journey is we recognized how devoid healthy coaching was in the space. In that these organizations typically take their highest performing player and just throw them into a role called coach. And that player very, very rarely knows how to translate from their ability into a tutelage, like a space where kids can develop and grow in their own style. And we've seen it time and time again. And I love psychology and I love kind of learning and developing. And so I started coaching my son, started coaching his friends, and then all of a sudden I'm working across 15 different countries, and I'm working with professional organizations, professional athletes. I'm working marginalized gender teams, which was the most fascinating that I've ever had the privilege of working with. And so then I decided to go get an education. So now I'm in my final course. I started my final class just today in my Master's of Education. And I'm lined up to do a doctorate in educational leadership because I am so passionate about writing curriculum for training coaches. And
That's awesome.
That's kind of where I'm sitting.
Very cool. All right. Well, welcome.
Yeah, that's definitely cool. I think too often people think if you can do it, then you can coach it. And honestly, like, just go look at any sport. Like, I'm not expecting Tom Brady to go be a coach anywhere because he can't necessarily teach what he does, because some of it is what he does. So you take somebody who is not quite at the same level. I mean, you're not grabbing Michael Jordan either to be a coach. I mean, you have people who are on great teams who understand all the dynamics, who are able to get the best out of other people. When you usually are the best performer, you're not always best at getting the best out of everybody around you.
Mm-hmm. One of my absolute favorite stories of a professional coach. Does everyone know who Pat Burns was? Does that name ring a bell?
Maple Leafs for a bit. Yeah.
No, well, he did coach
He coached
Toronto Maple
them,
Leafs one time, but he's famous for being a coach for the Montreal Canadiens hockey team. And when he was a police officer, and he was just basically coaching midget hockey, and he got sick and tired of the Montreal Canadiens flailing and never producing anything. And so he went and he got his proper certification. But when he was hired as the coach, he did not know how to skate. For an NHL team, he did not know how to skate. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And when it goes on to become multi-team coach, he gets into the Hall of Fame. He's passed away now, but what a story, right? Yeah. Like, just, I mean, I sit in that so much because I'm not a great mechanical player by any stretch. Like, when I started my Fortnite career, I laugh with it. I had a .29 KD. Like 0.29. Like, I was really bad. But everyone wanted to play and hang out with me because I was fun. I had a good time. And I always gave guns away because I was like, listen, if I give you the best gun, you have to keep me alive.
Yeah.
That's your job now. And I just ream on people. Yeah. And just had so much fun. But that's how I met most of my people. I mean, now, honestly, with Zero Build, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing for us old people. I mean, I'm running like a 3-4. Like, I'm really good now, and I really enjoy the game. But it took me a very long time to get.
Well, speaking of, you said old people. That leads me into one of our topics here is that ESA 2025 report that I put in the chat. So the what are they called? The the Entertainment Software Association puts out a report. I think every year. Is it every year they put one out, or is it every couple of years? Okay.
Every year since 2019 they put one out.
Yeah. So this one from 2025, it just breaks down. It's crazy the stats that they have included in this thing. I was reading it over today again, and like 205 million Americans, it says. Now I think this is all like the stats. Most of these stats are focused towards the U.S., but I think some of them are also global. But it seems like there's kind of a heavy focus on U.S. stats. But I think you would probably see if you looked at the stats in other countries, I would imagine it would mirror fairly similarly worldwide, globally. But it's like a third of people, 64%, play video games in the U.S. And like 28% of those players are 50 or older. Like there's people from every generation playing. Like then they've got a breakdown here. It's like the silent generation, which is people I think that's like born around like 1920 or 1930 or something like that. Like there's almost 30% play games 1+ hours a week. There is that, yeah. So it could be all of them left that are still that are playing games.
Them, yeah.
They're all playing games. But yeah, it's crazy.
Here's something really cool. You jump into stats with me, and I'm going to go crazy on you. But I mean, we've got they classify a gamer as someone who spends 2.5 hours a week playing a video game. And so the average age, does anyone know what the average age of a gamer is?
38.
36?
Almost. Yeah. It's 35 years old. It was 31 and a half 2.5 years ago. But that number is skewed because of Wordle. Because the number of elder people that are playing Wordle, and it's 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, you're at 2.5 hours. Right. And so this is where the bell curve gets way out of whack. It's so fun to see that kind of stuff.
But I think that's great because you could use Wordle as a launching off point to talk to them about gaming. You can be like, listen, you like to play Wordle? Your nephew likes to play Fortnite. They're both video games. You can see how they could get entertainment out of that and how you could connect with them over some Mario Kart or whatever, right? So I think that's really cool that even if it's just Wordle that they're playing, you can still kind of start a conversation over it. Right. Did anybody else look over those and have any interesting stats that stood out to them?
I found it interesting that it said that 80% of parents who play games are playing with their kids. I almost would have thought that number would have been higher.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a lot of parents who are... sorry, Neil, if you're trying to say something, it's not coming through. Or I'm talking over you. It's quiet.
But he's really quiet.
Let me just double check that I didn't turn you way down. I thought we had you up. Try again. There we go. That's better.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Go for it.
Yeah. Were you trying to jump in? Did you have something you wanted to add?
I want to take on the parents of gamers. That does seem interesting because most of the parents are going to be gamers who grew up and then they want to play with kids.
Yeah.
But that's interesting.
I wondered if it was parents who they game because they grew up gaming and maybe it's they see it as a thing that like when they were younger they were addicted to it. So like myself, I'm looking at like I spent way too much time playing games maybe over the years. And then I'm like, well, I don't want to play with my kids because I don't want to encourage them into the same bad habit that I formed. But that's not me. I do play games with my kids and they play lots of games, probably too much. But yeah, I wonder if there's some out there that are like gamer parents, but they don't play with their kids because they don't want to like encourage them, or the parents just want to play everything that's 18 plus and they don't want their kids to play with them. Maybe, I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought there of what are you playing with your kids?
Yeah.
Because, back in the day, before there was video games, you're going to go outside and play catch. That was what you're going to do with your dad. You're going to go out and play catch. So if doing Mario Kart, that's what I do with my kids. You play Mario Kart with them, and then you're all sitting around. You can razz each other. You can have a good time. You're all doing it together. Not that there aren't other games, but I'm just thinking kids' games of when my kids were growing up was Mario Kart, and we could hang around and do that. Then they got older and they did Smash Bros, and I'm like, yeah, I can't hit that many buttons. I'm out. Mom would always just watch, though. She never wanted to play. She just wanted to watch everybody do things. So it's interesting. And I think I saw, not in this, but somewhere else, that Gen Alpha, 94% identifies as a gamer.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy. Lots of phone, tablet, and then all the different other console systems.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think on that list we have it's something like 88% male and 78% female identify as they play games 1+ hours per week. It says, which could be anything. Could be 80 hours a week.
Sammy was trying to say something, but you did, or?
Yeah, we can't hear you, Sam.
Actually,
Let me see. We're gonna get a bunch of those USB sound effects that I was talking about before stream here, because I keep clicking back and forth. No, your volume's up, and you're not muted.
Yeah.
Well, while she's trying to figure that out, there was another thing that was interesting, that video games, I mean, the things you would think of bringing joy or stress relief, but providing mental stimulation is an interesting thing, because that would be what people would associate video games with. They downplay it, but if I'm going to it to mentally stimulate myself, that's going to probably be what games I'm choosing to play. But whatever it is, I find, and then you're mentioning Wordle, that might be where that is getting up there, is some of those memory type of things and or problem solving type of things, and or if you're in the games that do quests, you have to achieve things, remember things, go all over the place and do whatnot. There is a lot of stimulation for your mental capacities in those.
Yeah, well, even growing up, I always felt like my parents were like, you play too many video games. I'm like, yeah, but I'm playing Final Fantasy and you're watching reality TV. I'm reading 100 times more than you are a week with having to read through Final Fantasy 3 all the way through. You know what I mean? Like, it felt, that's what I was like. These are stimulating. Yeah, they're getting you. Even shooters, you're working on reaction time and things like that. Your brain is having to calculate, like, is somebody sneaking up behind me? Is there, what's over here? And what mission do I have to complete in that direction before I run off in this direction and do those sorts of things? So I think almost no matter what you're playing, there's some sort of part of your brain that's being stimulated that might not if you were just kind of sitting and watching TV. I feel like games are such a more of a stimulant than TV. I guess maybe depending on what you're watching, documentaries and things like that might have some.
Well, all about how you engage with it, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. There we go. We got you in.
Hey, cool. I was just kind of like, this kind of riffing on what I was thinking about bringing up. It's like, it's kind of weird that we still put, because games are so new, we still put it in this medium of like, oh, X% of people are gamers. Isn't that cool and interesting? But we don't ever talk about like, oh, X% of people watch movies or read books. It's like, it's just a given that humans engage with books or TV, music, social media. I mean, maybe not everybody with it, but for some reason, gaming still has this weird stigma, I get. Not even stigma, isn't even like, there's this weird thing of like, oh, not everybody's a gamer, but some people, I think everybody exists on a engaging with games spectrum. Just like some people create music, some people are more analytical about music, and some people are just like, I want the radio on while I'm working.
It's new, right? it's still that redhead stepchild kind of thing. Where they're young, they're new, and I have to break into being an adult. Oh, they're an adult. Okay, they're accepted.
Yeah, I kind of feel like
that.
Within my lifetime, it's probably got to drop off where we just kind of accept that, yep, people play games. That is fact of life.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping that we were already there. Let's go ahead.
When my youngest made his step into full-time gaming, within a month he said, "Dad, I need help figuring out what my teammates are like. Why are they behaving this way? Do you have a book I can read?" So this is a grade 10 student reading The 5 Languages of Appreciation from Paul White, and then immediately jumps into the Richard Rohr's Christian Perspective on the Enneagram, which is a university textbook, because he was trying to meet his players, his teammates, where they were. And he wanted to find a way in. This is a grade 10 student who has not done any work in his entire academic career, to now he's reading 2 big books that are his driving his education, his learning forward. This is what we're seeing is kids need to learn in the path that they're on. We need to break that mold of the factory system. I'm sure if you're on social media, you've seen the dangers of sitting a kid in a classroom who's not designed to be in a classroom. And then getting mad at them for not learning the way you're teaching them, but you can't teach them another way. We were talking about coaching earlier, right? Like the idea that one of the core tenets of my program is, so we teach you what coaching is. We teach you what philosophy of coaching is. We tell you to go write your coaching philosophy. And then I put you in an internship where that philosophy will fail. Like it's cultivated to fail. Because if you don't learn how to adapt, you don't win. And that, I think, is the danger the church made. And not even just the church, but a lot of people made the decision that gaming was evil. So we're not going to participate in it. And we're going to continue to call it evil until it goes away.
They tried with Hollywood, and we see how that turned out.
Yeah. It's just, it reminds me of immaturity mindset, which is traditional for all regular culture. Like there's it's a new thing, and this is throughout history. Yeah. That new thing is scary. I will be afraid of it until the generation outgrows it. There's the young generation comes in, like, oh, it's normal, we're adapting, let's move on.
Yeah. That's funny that you say that, because on going through this ESA thing, I got to the end and then I started looking at other things that they had on their site. And one of them was a link to a group called Stack Up, which serves service people. So people who have been in the military and come back, or people who are currently deployed, they get them involved with connecting through gaming to help them with their mental health, to help them connect with their family or to connect with other people, to not be isolated. And one of the things on their page was like, why gaming? And then there was a quote from Shigeru Miyamoto, and he said, video games are evil or something like that, or video games are immature. That's what they said about rock and roll. It's like, and then eventually, rock and roll is now a mainstream musical style. Everybody and their dad and their grandpa has a favorite rock and roll band. You know what I mean? Like, to some degree, but gaming is just kind of like a step behind that, and it's coming up, and I think it's ready to be, like you said, Sammy, like at some point it's just going to be like, oh yeah, that's almost everybody's a gamer on that spectrum of gaming, and we just accept it, and something else will become the new thing that everybody hates.
AI.
Yeah. So just kind of maybe jumping off this, unless anybody else wants to add anything else about the ESA.
I kind of wanted to harken back to what you had started on by just about video games just being a thing that sharpens skills. I mean, if you looked at that article underneath that, motivations for playing games, 35% of the people who play games say they play to keep their mind sharp. But of that 35%, 65% of it is the baby boomer generation, the silent generation, and then 40% of it is Gen X, which are those older generations.
The youth just don't think about keeping their minds sharp yet.
Yeah, they're getting that benefit from it, but it's not the reason they go there, maybe necessarily, right?
Right.
But yeah.
Right. But I just found that so fascinating that it's just that there are people that are that in that age range that do play.
Yeah. For sure.
One thing on that note, real quick, is the widespread genres we're having now is really going to bloom, like why people play, and obviously it'll include more age, but also like there's so many interesting genres now, subgenres that are popping up, but they're not your traditional game, like all these walking simulators and visual novels and things that are just not a traditional, like I'm going to do action, or anything that's like a platformer I grew up with. It's just a very different. And we're going to explore the medium, the art side of it more, and say like, oh, where does this go? Ooh, this is going to be very unique.
Yeah. I don't know how many of you guys played Firewatch, but when you said walking simulators, I was like, oh yeah, that was actually a terrific game. Like, I had a lot of fun playing that.
Hadn't played that one, but you're saying...
Right. What can I say?
You were mentioning simulators, and what's funny is I would be doing stuff in the same month, and then somebody else I would be watching on Twitch would be doing a simulator of it. So I was watching someone do a simulator game of maple syrup, and I'm outside doing maple syrup. And then I'm power washing my deck, and they're doing a simulator of power washing. And I'm like, you're doing all the like, come over to my house. Like, we'll just go do this thing. But on the other side of that, I lived in Iowa for a while, and I actually did to drive in a combine. But not a lot of people will ever get to drive in a combine. So there are some simulators that the only way you can actually experience it is to do that. I guess not my friend who was doing the maple syrup simulator, but some people are going to live places where there are no maple trees. You can't do that. So you do have to experience it. And that kind of, reminded me of like older ones like SimCity or SimZoo. And I had a lot of fun with SimZoo over the years, where you try to keep all of the predators alive in one area. And then you just like put it on pause and let them all go crazy and stuff. And, risk all of those wildlife dying, but, you'd have fun.
I'm going to echo off what you said there. As someone from the Midwest, anyone who wants to come drive Combine, I will be more than happy to welcome you. Because seeing those fields late at night can get
into an esport now.
Which type of
esport? Yeah, it's an official esport now.
Which kind of simulator? Sorry, I missed that.
Yep, the farm sim.
Simulator.
Oh, farm sim. Yeah.
Like, it's a legit esport now, and you've got actual farm kids
competing,
getting behind, and they're building these rigs. The guy, he's not doing the farm simulator, but he built himself a NASCAR in his basement so he can do the sim racing. And he's actually in the car, like, and he's got pit crew, and they're doing like all over the headset and everything else. He had me doing his track turns for a while. Like, we were VOD reviewing him and stuff. It was awesome. Unreal, the depth that you have to go into in these sim stuff. Like, the sim world is really starting to get a solid anchoring away from Call of Duty, Fortnite, those bigger, more populous type games right now. But we're coming back, Scott, we were talking off camera before we got started. We were talking about all the games that you have kind of in your catalog.
Yeah, Farm Sim's in there. I got it for free sometime off Steam or something, and it's sitting there just waiting for me to try it out.
Yeah. They're interesting. It's a, how do you reflect the real world and try stuff, right?
Yeah.
It gives a playground to try things you wouldn't try in the regular world.
Yeah.
And then it leads to people trying the real world.
I think you're right.
Like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. How that becomes full of, I'm interested in that. I don't want to get hurt. Ooh, okay, maybe I will.
Well, even if it's not something where you can get hurt, but like waste money. Like, I'm like, okay, I love playing like Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley. I'm like, well, why don't I just go out in my backyard and plant something? I'm like, well, because if I do it wrong at first, I'm going to blow a whole bunch of money and waste it and not have any crops to show for it. But maybe if I learn a little bit about it from a game, then I can, try.
So it's really funny you mentioned the money aspect, because kind of going off what Chaplain was saying, how Sims have kind of taken their own leap from the standard competitive esports scene. The kind of rigs that these people build for simulator games are insane. Like, I know someone who plays COD esport. His PC setup is I think $5,000, like his tower.
Mm-hmm.
I know of someone who, I don't know them personally, but I know of someone who custom built a racing sim setup. It cost him $40,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's still cheaper than a NASCAR, which costs like $1 million or something, right?
Yeah. But it's these guys are going they're going big.
Yeah.
This is they're investing in their livelihood, which is I mean what normal people do every day. I say normal people.
And you talk about the crossover there with esports of what parents have been doing for the last decade plus of what they're willing to spend on investing in their kids becoming a professional athlete or the potential to in any sport. If you're on a hockey traveling team, the cost to do that. You're on a soccer traveling team, a baseball traveling team, going around the country to pick your sport. There's a whole way to excel at it so that you can get a scholarship into college or eventually, hopefully, become a professional athlete. Mm-hmm. No wonder esports is going to go the same direction now that colleges are seeing the money potential there and having scholarships there. Yeah, the money is going to follow then the parent involvement, the parent investment of money, it's going to follow too.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Sammy, looked like you wanted to add something there.
It's fine.
Okay. No worries. But yeah, like just to kind of sum that all up, I think that the spread we're seeing in these statistics just goes to show the different things, the different genres of games, the way that it's all coming into its own and becoming something that's more recognizable, something that colleges are willing to actually put money out and pay for and support. It's really cool. And I think that kind of could carry us into our next topic of ministry in games, because there are so many people gaming that there's a huge population out there of people who maybe they're the type who would never go to a church. Maybe they're the type who can't because they're stuck in their homes for some reason or another, whether it's physical disability or just a mental block where they don't want to go out or they can't go out because of something like that. And ministering through games or through Twitch or creating games that are a ministry of some sort. I think that's a really cool idea. Anybody want to dive in on that?
Ministry engagement. There's a lot of that. We have a couple of friends that are doing that, especially for youth groups. It's reaching youth that would never come.
Mm-hmm.
And they get a chance to get away from usually more harsh families, and they get a holistic community, and they're like, I'm in. And they're there all the time, every week. And it's super cool. But they're having a blast. And then they get real conversations, and they get real community. They're loved on. It's so cool.
I think one of the key factors there is that the fear that a lot of the people that are naysayers in regards to gaming is that a kid will just stay in their bedroom. But when it comes to the ministry component, it's actually the exact opposite. They actually come out of their bedroom in droves faster than you could imagine because they have a group of people that love and care for them genuinely. And now all of a sudden we're seeing that happen. And it's so exciting to see some of the more successful spaces using games to onboard the relationship. I'm on staff at a small church here in Canada, and I'm the director of digital engagement, digital discipleship. And they won't let me use games yet, but we're almost there. Mm-hmm. But the idea of allowing people to have their anonymity while still being known.
Totally.
Yep.
and it's the whole gamer tag scenario. And so whenever I meet a kid, I'm like, oh yeah, what's your name? Oh, so and so. Okay, yeah, what's your gamer tag?
Gamer tag.
Because that I will remember. That I will invest in my brain skull. That
Yes.
I'm going to remember that. And I get some of the weirdest ones, right? And but it's a way that engages with the persona that they are trying to get to.
There's a part of identity in that too. Instead of the anonymity, my name is a very unusual name, but I went to school with 20 different Mikes. Great, your name's Mike. You're just like every other Mike. But if you have a streamer name, you have a gamer tag, you're unique for the most part. Now, yeah, there's people that trying to pick one and you're number 412 or whatever of however many there are, but you still in some way either earned that in a group that you're playing with. There's an association with it. There's a reason behind it. There is a whole bunch that tells me something about it. And to recognize that is really I think an honoring thing that you are a unique individual and I care about you, which I've had the opposite experience with people when I go around and introduce myself as FlatCapDapperPastor. And I actually was in a Zoom call and my name showed up on the screen. And I heard before I got in there, the one person saying to someone else, well, I'm not calling him by that name. And you don't have to. You can say, hey, you, I don't care. But how disrespected, to show up and to say, no, what's your real name? I need to know that is a part of it. To go back to the question you were asking at the beginning of ministry, if everybody that was a gamer was on a continent by themselves, we wouldn't say, oh, well, they're over there. They need to come over to where we live. And when they get over here, we'll share the gospel with them. We would be figuring out how to go to them. Yeah. And I don't know what the numbers are now, but, the number of people on Twitch are, any given time, 3 million people that might be watching Twitch right now? Yeah. If you had 3 million people that you could reach, well, you're not going to reach all of them one person, but if the church is going to reach 3 million people, I don't have 3 million people in my town. Right. But I can go online and maybe get connected with 3, 4, 5 times as many people live in the small town I live in. And if everybody's doing that, we can make a dent in that 3 million people that are online at any given moment.
When I first started doing this and trying to figure out ways that I could try and get people interested in supporting me or coming alongside and working with me in it, I started doing some research, and Twitch had at the time, this is a couple of years ago, 140 million unique viewers monthly. Wow. And I was like, okay, so that's half of the United States at the time. That's 4 times as many people live in my country, in Canada. Yeah. It's pretty much the population of Japan. And I thought, like you said, I said to some people, I was like, if there was a country, 140 million people, and no one there knew Jesus, or a small percentage, or they need ministry, even if they know Jesus on some level, if they're isolating still by themselves, they need fellowship. They need to be seen and known, like Chaplain said. We would find a way to send people there. We wouldn't just be like, oh, well, forget about them, right? It's but it almost sometimes feels like at large, the church has that kind of attitude towards gaming ministry. And not to say every church does. My pastor's fairly supportive of it. And we have our online churches like XP Church and the Church Digital and stuff like that working at this and different things. But it's very interesting when you look at it from that kind of numbers perspective and of unreached people.
One other thing that really I think is exciting is I see people who are in closed countries who show up in my Twitch stream that I would never have access to those people. The governments are not shutting down gaming because the Bible might come in and Christ might come in. They're not shutting gaming down because of it. So there are ways to reach people that are unreachable by normal, by regular, by ordinary, by historic means, that gaming opens the door to get the relationship built so that you earn the right to be able to share your faith. So it doesn't, I'm just saying, depending on how you approach things, but there's that whole aspect of you can get your foot in the doorway to relationship through gaming with people that you would never be able to come across, and those countries are not open to any other platforms coming into their country because they're leery of things that gaming can kind of do a bypass and get in there.
That's a good point. Any other thoughts around the table?
Well, yeah, kind of going off of just the whole ministry in gaming in general, just like the first step of that, I know a lot of people who take the first step in that is just building like a positive community around either themselves or their gaming. Like I can think of like 5 people offhand right now who do stuff like that, who they don't necessarily like preach or have or talk about the Bible in their streams, but just their positivity and their welcomingness is just so infectious that it's what brings you back to their streams. Like the first one that comes to mind for me is Aki, from Aki and Fam. I mean, his big thing is you don't have to believe what I believe, but you're welcome here and we love you anyway. It's like it's just so incredible that there are people out there who are just doing that. And I think that's just already, just even that step is just a huge win for the gospel in gaming.
Sure.
We had one of our world partners in Singapore. He's been doing serial League of Legends teams. He builds a team, gets them to world champions, sells them, does it again. He's done it like 5 times.
Oh my god!
And so I know, right? And so he gets a call from. So he's a Christian. He's a business missionary. So he uses his business to fund missions and missions projects throughout Singapore. And this is the avenue that he's making his money at. And so he gets a phone call from a Christian in one of the neighboring countries to Singapore during COVID. He's like, I don't know what to do. I went to host a Fortnite tournament and they had slots for 2,500 people. And they had 21,000 girls sign up to play. Because in this country, it was a Muslim country, and girls were not allowed to play sports. So all of these girls, these young girls were coming out, and the gospel was going to be presented in a Muslim country through the avenue of Fortnite. Like this, when we talk about the reach that we can have, when we make a space, one of the missional goals I had before the Switch 2 came out, now it's probably cost, it's not going to happen now because of cost, but was to purchase Switches. So I wanted to purchase 10 Switches, 10 Mario Karts, and 10 Smash Brothers with a Bluetooth speaker and projector, and then get host families to host tournaments on their garage door in their neighborhood on a Friday or a Saturday night. Just inviting parents and families to come visit and play video games on your garage door. Meet your neighbors. And then every kid that played would get a ranking. And then those top 90 kids would all get invited to a regional match where they could play for the entire day. And we would have breakout rooms for parents. We'd have classes that would just do, hey, how do we use gaming in education? How do we use gaming to do this? How do we, and really building out this foundation. But I didn't get the grant, and it didn't happen. But it's still a vision, still a dream.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Along those lines,
I got 3 Switches now.
With colleges giving scholarships, there are going to be high schools and then down to middle schools who are going to be having teams. So if somebody is thinking about that, I mean, I actually 2 years ago was talking in my local community about trying to get esports started and what they were wanting to do and trying to get that organized and set up. And I don't have a kid in the school system. I'm not looking to do that. I was just like, hey, there's enough stuff. Are you thinking about it? And I helped with some planning and processing and connecting. and they've gone forward. But I love that idea of even going a step lower than that, just having it in your neighborhood so that everybody knows it's going on. That'd be really funny if I did that, because everybody in my neighborhood has to drive past my house because I'm on the corner. So they would all know if it was happening here. They'd all see it. I don't know that I'm going to be doing that, but I love that idea of just put it out there, invite people over, giving the kids a safe place in the neighborhood that they can go hang out too.
Yep. And it's all outside. So there's no inside. Kids don't go and use your bathroom.
Going in someone's house,
Nothing like it's all outside. There's no danger to the child. It is governed, right? Like you're taking your parents through. Like we were going to do. So the tech was going to be free to borrow, and it was dropped off and picked up within the same 24-hour cycle. But the parents had to do a 10-week cohort, do their plan to protect, get all of their, police checking and stuff done. Like all of that stuff was going to be done so that we knew that there was going to be rules and establishments within this so that it was protected and it was a space that families could then very quickly feel safe.
Yeah.
That, my kid is going down to Tommy's house to play, Smash Brothers tonight outside. Like, what is that? And it's on the garage door. It's like, it's huge. It's giant. It's not like on a TV screen where they're all dialed in. It's the whole neighborhood gets to see what's happening. At one point, we wanted to do the projector, the Christmas one that does like the lights. We wanted to do one and have like Overwatch playing on the entire front of our house and just let my son play. Like, it would just be so much fun. It'd just be like, sorry. Ministry.
I love pipe dreams like that. And whether they happen or they don't doesn't matter. That just goes back to another point I was going to bring up is I'm kind of thankful right now that the Western church hasn't embraced gaming, because they haven't gone in and ruined and said, here's the only one way to do it. And you better do it the right way or you're not going to be allowed to do it. There is no one right way. There is no one absolute way. There is bring who you are to where you are to reach who you can reach. And I love hearing and watching stories and having exciting things like Chaplain you're talking about there that, hey, it didn't happen, but that might inspire what will happen. Just even having the conversation about that. Or we were talking before we got on about me, I'm going to, be streaming riding my bicycle. Like, what a weird idea is that? Why would you want to do that? Because I love creation and I want to share what I see when I go on a bike ride. That's why I want to do that. I won't be able to quite fully do that. Actually, as I've been prepping in the last week, I keep stopping every time I see animals. I see deer and turkey in my yard daily, but I'm stopping as I'm riding my bike. Hey, look, there's a fawn over here. Check it out. I'm going to pause. I hope you can see it before it runs away. Or I actually saw a buck yesterday with his velvet on. I'm like, I haven't seen him around. So I stopped. He's behind the woods. Nobody could see him. I got the best view, but I'm trying to share that piece that I love with other people to get them excited, get them involved, make connections. So, Chaplain, I love the idea. If it doesn't happen, it'll inspire something else, I bet.
I just need a bigger funder now that the Switch 2 is out. That's all.
Okay.
Or
you just
more
do
than one
5 of them
funder.
instead of 10.
He has inspired. Like we've worked together and done tournaments at my church, and I have now, like I said, 3 Switches of my own. I traded a guitar that I had posted on the Facebook Marketplace for $70. Some kid messaged me. He's like, "Hey, will you take a trade?" I was like, I don't know. I don't think I want to do a trade. I want the cash. He's like, "It's a Switch and 3 games, and one of them was Mario Kart." And I was like, yes. So I got another, that's like $400 worth of stuff. And it's just like, God just dropped that in my lap. It's like, we're doing Mario Kart tournaments and we need more Switches. And he's like, here you go. Here's another one. Add it to the box. It's like, it's just crazy. And so, like those sorts of things are inspiring people and making stuff happen. And hopefully we all can be a part of something like that. Because it's such a blessing when you feel God like using you in something like that. And it's really cool.
Community building.
Yeah.
It's the new baseball.
Moneyball.
MLB the show. Let's go.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Share that ministry in the show notes. Satellite gaming one.
Oh yeah, satellite gaming has also been they were they were kind of an inspiration as well, alongside Chaplain and his work. But yeah, like I showed their trailer to my board at my church when I was asking if I could use the church for my events. I was like, check out this. These people are doing this like much bigger. They're steps ahead of where we are, but this is kind of like where I could, picture us being similarly at. Maybe they're doing the school systems, but I think it would be cool to do the churches. I was thinking similar to what Chaplain said, like you go around and you do these mini events and you get like some winners and then you bring them to a big event. I thought it would be cool to do a tour of all the churches in my area. There's something like 30 or 40 churches within like a half-hour drive of me. And so if we went to every church and took the top 2 players from each one and then did like an invitational at the end of the year where it's like these guys are the champions from all the different churches and they're facing each other, I thought that would be really awesome.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Yeah. It's all dreams until they happen, and hopefully they do. Just keep praying about it. And
I just think as a general, we should just bring back LAN parties, but it's just me.
Yes.
Yeah, LAN parties are fun.
And that's essentially what Scott and I did, right? We just set up a giant LAN party and had a bunch of kids show up, and then we pull the parents aside and we do a 40-minute talk with Q&A, and we just address all the needs, really. Because a lot of parents, like when we talk ministry, I use a Bible passage from the book of Malachi in the Old Testament, where it says, the hearts of the father must come to the hearts of the child in order for the child to come back to the family. And so we basically come alongside the parent. We teach them how to engage in the child's world. Like we as parents often yank our child up out of their world, saying, come live in my world, come do your chores, come and do this, come. And we're angry about it versus taking the moment to come down into their world to understand what they're experiencing and then finding a way to bring wisdom. And we just don't do that well anymore. And I mean, that's what our partnership's been about. And I mean, I was at one church and I did like 90 minutes. I did 35-minute talk and 90 minutes of Q&A because they just kept talking. Like, yes, bring me more. Like, this is the best part is when you're actually addressing the struggles and the concerns that they're facing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
a
awesome.
huge thing. I think I said this last episode, but I'm pretty positive I'm the youngest person here at 26. But like growing up, like my parents were very old school, like not bashing them. I love my parents to death, but it was very much if I was playing games with my friends, it was, hey, pause your game, come down here. And it was like, then it would kind of the old fashioned of, I can't pause a game because it's online. Like if I paused the game, quote unquote, it wouldn't just stop for me; it would stop for everybody else playing, and that's not how that works, really. But over the past few years, I've kind of been able to get a better vocabulary to explain it, just to my dad specifically, and he has gotten such a much better grip. And I think that really started to click for him when I actually got my first paycheck through Twitch. When he was like, okay, this isn't something he's just messing around with. This is something that he's actually could earn a viable income off of if he puts the effort and energy into it. And I think that was like that's the big thing that from the kid's perspective that a lot of parents overlook is that it's such an opening to not just something to do to get into college, but it's also something to do to get into a profession. Because most kids, they don't just have a PC. They either have to buy it and put it together, or they buy it pre-built, which they eventually have to upgrade. So it eventually starts teaching those mechanics of putting together those electronic components.
They can learn all sorts. They can learn audio. Like I've got a soundboard here. Before I started streaming, I never played with a soundboard very much. I've got lighting. Like you're learning. There's so many skills you can learn from getting into it. It's really cool.
Exactly, and that's a huge thing that I think is one thing that's often overlooked.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Cool. Well, in the interest of trying to keep us moving here and not going too far over our hour mark, our next topic that we had is the handheld wars. Have the handheld wars begun? Are the console wars over, and now we're in the handheld wars? I think somebody said in chat. Is like we've got the Xbox and the Switch.
I invariably think the console wars have ended. Xbox has put the nail in the coffin by adding a Steam UI into their new consoles. But yeah, the handheld war has begun because now you've got the Steam Deck, you've got the Switch 2, you've got that Lenovo handheld that I had posted in the chat, and Xbox is coming out with a handheld now. So it's like we're almost back in the days of like the Nintendo DS, but the DS has competition.
Yeah.
Well,
because I remember back in the day, the DS's only competition was the PSP, and that was a meh to begin with.
Well, and who's to say that someone doesn't figure out how to have one of those consoles just be your phone? And if that's just your phone, you don't need a phone. All you need is your console to do everything on.
Right.
And your Switch becomes your phone now instead of the other way around. Yeah. Instead of your phone being a gaming console. Huh.
Yeah, you don't play games on your phone. You play your phone on you use your phone on your games.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're already doing Discord calls, so.
Yeah.
It's really interesting that we talk about these handhelds. They're only in North America. They're not global.
Not yet.
Interesting. No, and they won't go global. They won't because of the mobile. Yeah. You go to India, everybody is playing Call of Duty on their phone. Yep. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You ever seen these guys play Call of Duty on the phone? They're freaking good. Sorry, I swear. They're really, really good.
Yeah.
You go to, something in my throat. We've got a team within our Go game community that's down in Brazil.
I was just going to mention Brazil.
It is cost prohibitive. It is cost prohibitive for them to have PCs
or consoles.
They cannot get the tech down there, or even consoles. They can't even get an Xbox down there. Yeah. But what do they have? They have a phone. And one of our moms down there, her name's Elise, phenomenal woman of God. She's so cool. So during COVID, her son's playing Brawl Stars because that's the mobile version. And she's not appreciating the behavior that he's having while he's playing video games. So she decides to play video games with her son. We've been talking about this all night, right?
Yeah.
And she accidentally becomes a top 10 player in Brazil. Literally crushing kids in this game.
Talent.
Natural talent. Like it's just, but it's everyone like in these spaces where it's cost prohibitive are using their mobile devices. And
they make controllers for them that turn them into. You got the sidekick or whatever, right? Those things. It's like a console.
Yeah,
I would be more pro mobile gaming if they made like good games, but it seems so few and far between. And like I hate the monetization models. Like they can be
I think we're spoiled though, right?
So it's like, Well, I mean, I feel like
I hear what you're saying about that.
We deserve better. They don't have to suffer just because. like they deserve the good things too, the good games, and
absolutely.
With game developers getting more and more questionable the greedy performance practices. Well, just that they don't focus on making performant games because they're just like, our gamers they'll just buy a new computer. They'll get a bigger, stronger thing to play our game instead of like all the effort that they went into making sure the original Pokemon games fit on those little tiny cartridges and all the skillful hackery that went into like double dipping everywhere they could to pack as much data as they could into such an itty bitty limitation. And then our modern stuff is just like, we'll just use Unreal Engine and make it look really nice, and they'll just buy a new NVIDIA card. And so it really limits gaming on a global scale, in a way that I just think is a tragedy. But
and that is a problem with the handhelds. I mean, I like my console handhelds from the standpoint of like a Switch. I know that when they put a game out on the Switch, it's going to work on the Switch. But what happens with these other Xbox, the Xbox One? It's not necessarily going to play every Xbox game out there. The Steam Deck already doesn't play every game that's on Steam. So then you're like, okay, now I have to buy the upgraded version next year so that I can play a few more of my Steam games when they release one that has a better CPU and GPU.
Going back to your other point, Sammy, I was wondering if there's going to be a swing back towards pay to play instead of the free to play model, which is on mobile, which is
I sure hope so.
90-something% of the market. Just because, like, we want, like, as a gamer, I really want to play solid experiences that's easy to take with me. And Switch is the best option at the moment, but it's still different when you're like, well, I just want it in my pocket, right? It's that simple thing of a mobile, but I need a controller that I can just pop in. But then there's not much options. Like, I don't know. Maybe it'll be something with the cloud streaming that's coming a few times, but it hasn't hit yet.
Yeah.
So you can cloud stream all your Switch games and all your, every console basically. That would be pretty sweet.
It's part of the reason why I love Minecraft, because it's the full experience when you play it on mobile. It's not cut down. It's not missing anything. There's no, well, there are in-app purchases, but it's not like bombarding you with that every 5 minutes and ads and things like that. It's the full experience and it runs well. It's like, why can't more companies do that with their games? Get you the full experience working well. Maybe they have to drop the graphics down a little bit or something, or, cut corners here and there, but yeah, full games on phones would be great instead of the little versions we get now with an ad every 10 seconds. It's kind of crazy.
And who knows how AI might change all that too.
Yeah, that's true.
So
think of all the carpal tunnel rise we'll have once we're all phone gamers.
Yeah. It's like,
no, it'd just be telling it what to do. Strike,
voice interaction.
Yeah, just voice interaction. It'll just do what you want to.
Chip in your head.
Yeah. Get a chip in your head. It just does everything. You just have the thought, that'd be great for you're playing Assassin's Creed and you just be silent. You don't say anything. You just think it and your avatar goes and does what you want it to do. And it doesn't fail because it's what you want it to do. It'll be successful then.
You get that brain lag though.
Interesting to use Assassin's Creed as the example. Just knowing that the game is about being hooked
into a machine.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a good connection.
Going into the Animus and,
Yeah. So who's winning the console wars now then?
Get into that.
Or not the console wars, but the handheld wars. Who's ahead, do you think?
Oh, Nintendo has it on lock right now. I mean, like FlatCap said, I mean, it's just... maybe it was you with FlatCap. I can't remember. My brain's all over the place right now because I've been writing notes like crazy. But I know that if I put a Nintendo cartridge in a Nintendo device, it's gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, shoot, I mean, I've got an original 3DS. It still works. That thing's been around for what, 13 years?
Yeah, I think peaked at the 3DS. It's been downhill from now.
As much as I definitely agree, specifically on the fact because it fits in my pocket.
Hey, a fellow 2DS enjoyer, let's go.
Big hands. Those 3DSs are too small.
I do like the Steam Deck though. Like, the Steam Deck is quite large, and so I don't know about Switch 2, but this screen is definitely bigger than my regular Switch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Switch 2 nice.
Switch 2 is just a little bit bigger. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think Nintendo. Well, like they broke sales records. Like they sold more than what was it, the PS4 within the first like 4 days or something like that, compared with what the PS4 sold in a month in its first month or something. It's crazy.
It surprises me zero.
I'm a little bit surprised because I don't feel like the Switch 2 had much.
The Mario Kart looks great. It's because the price is crazy.
If you lead with the number one merch selling game in the worldwide.
The world.
But
that's what Nintendo has often done when they have the new console. There are only a handful of games. You're not running all over the place, so their sales are big on those games when the new console's released. You only have this many. We have big sales. Everybody plays those. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's experiencing it. And then we start to unleash the variety later on. We get everybody in. We get you in the one thing, the two things, whatever it is, and then you move on from there.
They've got pretty much guaranteed hits, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, They've got Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Mario Kart, Smash Bros. It's like they just have to release one of those when they want a little bit of money. They're good to go.
Exactly. And two of the ones you listed are the number 1 and 2 best-selling franchises for merchandise in the world.
What are you going to say now?
I know Pokemon's the first. What's the second one?
Mario?
Wow.
So this Mario movie 2 comes out, and the other things, this is going to be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those look good.
I'm waiting for the Zelda movie though.
Just curious to see how it's going to turn out. I think we all were before Mario came out, and it was successful. So maybe they'll do it again.
Maybe.
The original Mario movie is the best Mario movie, and I will die on that hill. And you can stake me right here and now.
John Leguizamo and what's his name? Yeah, that one was interesting. It was good. I liked it. So we usually like to highlight a Christian game developer, studio, or a game. And I was looking through, I think, the Alandra Studio Discord and came across this game that looked really interesting. It's called The Serpent and the Seed. I don't know if any of you guys got a chance to download it and try it out. It's free on Apple and Android. And I thought it looked pretty neat. Did anybody get a chance to look at it?
Did not get a chance to play it, but the art is quite beautiful. Mm-hmm. It's all like hand painted or pastel almost, like 2D. Yeah, like gorgeous
pastels and watercolor kind of. Yeah, it's very cool looking. And the audio, I did play it a bit myself. The first like 20 minutes or so. They encourage you to play it with headphones on because the audio engineering of it, the music is very beautiful, and it's very. There might be things that you might not pick up if you don't, kind of enclose your ears with something and really try and hear every little sound. It's very nice. It's very beautiful. It has and speaking of our previous topic of ministry and games, it's almost like an interactive Bible story. It weaves the Bible into it. Every once in a while it stops and you'll see a Bible verse on the screen, or you'll see an excerpt from a Bible story. And so, it's very, very cool, very beautiful.
Yeah, it says ages 9 to 12 is what it's aimed at.
That's a good point, too. Yeah.
I am a big fan. I'm just a big fan of seeing games for God that actually focus on, like, artistry and excellence and, like, being really good. Did it play well? Did you like the... design?
The one issue that I had was the first time I played it, my screen was too dim, and there was a very dark, not in terms of theme, but in terms of the screen was all black, and I couldn't see where my character was, and I couldn't see where I was supposed to tap. So I replayed it today, and I put my brightness all the way up, and then I could actually see what I was supposed to do. So that was really the only issue that I ran into. And apart from that, it controlled well. It gave you feedback when you did things, and things kind of moved on the screen to indicate that they were interactive and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that it's something that I'll go back and play a little bit more of. It was pretty good looking. And it's gotten, from what I've seen, like people are generally positive and giving it positive reviews. I'm trying to find the name of the company so I can mention them too, but I'm having a hard time finding.
I thought I had it pulled up.
Discipleship Tech is what they're called. So yeah, if you guys get a chance, check out The Seed and the Serpent. The Serpent and the Seed by Discipleship Tech. They're Christian game developers. All right. Any final thoughts? Anything anybody wanted to mention, or anything that you guys are doing that you want to tell people about quick before we wrap up? We can kind of
a not so shameless plug for Reach coming up in November. If anybody who is either part of our hosts or anyone listening, we are doing a live D&D show on the last day, but leading up to said live D&D show, we are running multiple one-shots where players whose actions happen in the one-shot will affect the actual live show on the last day.
Good idea.
Interesting.
And so you can sign up for that. You can find those one-shots at reachconf.org. That's reachconf.com. .org.
Isn't it .org? I think it's .org.
Is it .org? I got told .com.
Oh,
Is it both? Give it a try.
Could be both.
If one doesn't work, try the other one. But yeah, no, I actually played Dungeons and Dragons for the first time myself at Reach last year, and it was a lot of fun to get to meet some new people and play with them and learn how to play it and stuff like that.
It is reachconf.org. I'm gonna have to discredit my source and have a small conversation with them.
I'm going to have to. Well, you're talking about you played for the first time. I stopped playing at 3rd edition, so I have a lot of learning curve to figure out to jump back into playing. But you were talking about anything going on. So before we meet the next month, Romans is going to be staying at my house. He's coming here, and we're going to Christian Game Developer Conference.
Oh yeah.
So,
Awesome.
yep. So I don't know what that's like. I'm not a game developer, but it's going to be fun to go hang out and to talk with people, do all of that stuff. I think that's going to be cool and exciting and fun. And I've stayed at his place in Orlando, and now he'll be coming and staying at my place. So that's going to be pretty cool.
That's awesome.
You're right over there in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
I'm about an hour west of Grand Rapids. So yeah,
That's cool.
It's worth living further away from Grand Rapids, I think.
The Realm Makers Conference is a great time too that they're joining with.
Double whammy, or triple or quadruple whammy? I forgot. There's a bunch getting together.
Yeah, I can't remember who all's involved, but for the writing folk, who the game side really fun, the writing side also really
More
fun.
More fun.
Kind of more fun, but I am biased because I am a writer for games, so.
We were doing to stay on the Dungeons and Dragons theme. We were doing with with crew. We were writing junior high Dungeons and Dragons gospel based one shots, where they could use their dice rolling to build out decision making protocols for junior highs and how to manage life decisions.
I love it.
It was really cool.
It's very cool.
I need to head out, everyone. But thanks so much.
Thanks, Neil. Have a great night.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Neil.
See ya.
Night.
Good meeting you, Neil.
Me too.
So yeah.
Shuffled.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's not going to work, is it?
Yeah, it's gonna mess up.
Let me. Why don't I just?
Quick,
I'm just
somebody else
gonna.
jump out.
I'm just gonna hide all of the overlays so that they. We can just finish up without those.
Good now. Yeah, just hide them.
So we had Sammy, did you have anything you want to share? Anything you're working on? Any games you're working with or events or anything?
Oh, not currently,
Okay.
but just happy to be here.
Keep us updated. Yeah, I'm happy to have you too. And
Or
Chaplain?
she's not allowed to stay.
Or she's not allowed to say NDAs. Yeah. Anything to share, Chaplain? Anything you're working on or you want to point anybody at?
I
Tell
got a
someone
lot.
to check out a website.
So we're finishing up the master's degree. We've officially launched our coaching process, so endgameesports.gg, and we're really excited about the website and kind of how we've built it out. And it's all designed around basic coaching, but also building digital literacy for parents, giving them the tools they need to be their child's first coach. That's really what we want to do. We've seen in the statistical spaces that less than 2.5% of all esports players actually received in-person or face-to-face coaching of any kind. 2.5% is such a terrible number. And we'll bring it up next time, I'm sure. But yeah, there's lots of wearing issues when you don't get coached and you're making it up as you go along. It's rough.
Yeah, a lot of options for things to go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Wait, I lied. I have one dumb
yes.
thing.
Good.
Do it. I'm doing Art Fight
Dumb.
because Art Fight is really fun. So if anybody in chat is an artist and wants to fight me, you can find me.
Awesome. So like you both draw something at the same time and then just like show it like.
Yeah, it's a cool collaborative art trading game that extends the whole month of July. And so there's a whole website for it, and you put up the characters, and you have like each character has an ID, and you just draw people's characters, and you get points for it. And the teams are vying for who has the most points at the end, and it's just practicing art skills, getting free art. I like to use it as a chance to kind of love on people who are early on in the art journey, because I just think people need to be encouraged and enjoy art as a hobby or a career, kind of the same way that, gaming and stuff works. And so It's a good old wholesome time that I just remembered and wanted to pitch.
That's very awesome. Yeah, I'm glad that you remembered it and brought it up. That's cool. For us here, we're working on getting ready for another in-person event in October. That might not apply very much to too many people who are listening because it's a local thing. But also, our next episode of this podcast will be coming up soon-ish. It'll be a month from now, and we're trying to do the last Monday of every month, so that would be the 28th of July. We'll start brainstorming who can attend that and getting ready to pick some topics and stuff like that. So. We'll be back there around then. But thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, however you're experiencing us. We're on Spotify and Apple and Amazon and YouTube and live on Twitch when we do our recordings. So it was great having you. And I'm going to hit the outro song and say good night to everybody. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Yeah.